Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Saturday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing awesome out there this morning and having a fantastic start to your day and a great start to your weekend out there. Here to bring you the latest on what's going to happen weather-wise for your Saturday. We'll speak on that. We'll pretty much zoom through today's portion of the forecast because all in all, it's a pretty chill Saturday out there weather-wise. In fact, when I show you the watches, warnings, and advisories, you'll be like, well, what are we looking at? And there really isn't much to look at besides some flood watches up in Montana. So a very quiet morning. Of course, we do have some scattered rains out there in areas, and we will have a shot at some strong to severe storms from a southern shortwave, basically an area of low pressure that will scoot across the southern sections of the country over the next several days. That will bring a little bit of severe weather for areas of the southern plains. So we'll speak on that a little bit. And then after that, we will talk on this southern shortwave area of energy that will, like I said, scoot across the southern sections of the country and really just talk about what it could potentially mean for the southern states over the course of the weekend, all the way into next week, as I do think we're going to have a chance of strong to severe storms between now and basically at least the first half of next week. Now, I know you're thinking, well, here we go again. I will tell you, I don't think this is going to be as serious as what we've seen. I think that we're going to have a bunch of marginal and slight risk days, level 1, level 2 out of 5s. But we're going to try to figure this one out, and we're going to have a time frame at the very end of the video where we're going to talk on that pretty heavily. So if you want to know what's driving that, the setup and everything, definitely skip ahead or either just stay tuned to the very end of the video. Guys, last night was completely amazing. I'm going to show you folks some pictures here in a second, so the intro is going to, of course, be a little bit longer than usual. But I saw the Northern Lights here in central South Carolina, and I do want to share a little bit of a story of what led into that, because, I mean, this is something that was truly special for me personally. I was just stunned, flabbergasted, shell-shocked, using pretty much all the terms for just absolutely just shocked for what I experienced last night here and central South Carolina. So I do want to mention, if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below. So let's talk about this really quick. There is some rain moving across areas of the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes region, a little bit of a spin up here associated with a surface low. This is bringing some heavy rains up here to northern lower Michigan. A swath of rain right through the Ohio Valley, the state of Ohio. This will actually help to aid in firing up enough lift for some thunderstorm activity across the Ohio Valley. So we will talk a little bit on that. A little bit of energy, still kind of trying to round the western side of this area of lower pressure over the northeastern tier of the lower 48. A little bit of moisture down here in the deep south where the cold front is not cleared. And we are waking up to a little bit of rain in the panhandle of Oklahoma and Texas, and some higher elevation snow, lower elevation rain in the state of Colorado. So this is what's going on right now. I want to show you guys some pictures. Spend a couple minutes on this. You know, if you don't really care about all this, don't blame me. Skip right ahead. So last night, well, yesterday afternoon, I would say yesterday morning, things started to get very crazy as far as news about the Northern Lights showing up pretty far south. And I don't pretend to be an expert in space weather, and I'm not. I'm not at all. There's a lot of people that are a lot smarter with that than I am. Now, I'm more interested than ever before in learning more. I'll tell you that after what I experienced. But things got, pretty crazy on social media, talking about, a G4, G5 storm, and how basically you were going to be able to see the Northern Lights pretty far south. So on my way home yesterday afternoon, I'm thinking to myself, well, I go to bed pretty early, 8:30, 9 o'clock typically, even on the weekend nights, Friday and Saturday nights. But I'm going to stay up a little bit extra just to see if I can see this. So we have a lake called Lake Murray here locally in the Midlands of South Carolina. And, there's a little bit of a clearing. It's not a super wide lake, but, it's enough of a open area where you can see in the horizon. So I drove there. I was literally in bed at about 8:45. I was about to say, you know what, I'm tired, and I am. I haven't got a whole lot of sleep this week just from covering severe weather. And, I done put my phone on the charger. I was about to go to sleep. I done said my prayers and already set my alarm. And then I looked on social media one more time, and I saw where somebody posted that they could see the Northern Lights in the Bahamas. So I was like, okay, I got to get up, give myself a jolt of energy. I threw on my glasses, didn't even put my contacts back in, and I drove 10, 15 minutes up to Lake Murray And as you can see on this screen, it took about 20 minutes. And of course, this is a raw picture. 3-second exposure on an iPhone 15 Pro. So this isn't even one of those higher end cameras, DSLR cameras, an iPhone 15. You could probably see it on like a lower end iPhone 2 or just Android or whatever. 3-second exposure. And it started off with just a pink area in the sky. And things just got crazy into what it is on this screen. And, not the most high quality picture, but guys, a lot of people kept asking me here in South Carolina, can you see it with your eyes? And you could for about 20 minutes and even longer than that, but you had to really, really know what you were looking for and looking at. But it was the most unreal experience. I can't even explain it. I don't get like really torn up emotionally wise. It takes me a lot for me to cry, and it's not saying a grown man shouldn't cry. That's not what I'm saying. It just takes a lot. And I didn't cry with this, but I can tell you, I had a form of emotion that I haven't felt in a long time. I just couldn't. Words can't explain what I experienced, and it was just crazy. I couldn't believe what my iPhone was capturing, and you could see it with your eyes. And here's some pictures. I mean, that's the moon. I mean, that's the Northern Lights, guys, right over Lake Murray. I mean, it was just unreal. It's just, and this was one of my better shots. Like I said, 3-second exposure, so I didn't have a tripod with me, so you see these weird little slashes up here. But, I mean, look at this. This is something you see up in the Arctic Circle, with a snow-covered landscape. Just unreal stuff, guys. And, of course, I had to get in Lightroom and edit it a little bit, and I had to bring those colors out. So here's a Photoshop, not a Photoshop, but kind of just the edited version in Lightroom of this, where I brought some of the colors out. What a lot of photographers do, and I'm not a photographer, but man, just look at this, just unreal stuff. So sorry, I just wanted to share that with you. It was just there. Stay tuned. If you're wondering, Mitch, is it going to do it tonight? I'm not an expert. There's probably a lot of YouTube channels out there that will help you with that, but there is chatter. It's going to do something again tonight. I don't know if it'll be as high end, but just unreal stuff, folks. So just want to share that with you. Let's move forward. So the rest of the weather, as far as watches, warnings, and advisories, like I said, only flood watches up in Montana. I mean, there's just nothing. It's a quiet start to your weekend, and I'm loving it. I'm glad that we get a little break. I'm honestly, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I'm sick of talking severe weather. I've mentioned this many times. Out of the 3 categories of weather that I like talking about the most, winter weather, of course, is up there. The tropics, hurricane season, and then severe weather season is way down the list at number 3. I just I've enjoyed talking about it because I've learned a lot more, and the more that I repeat myself, the more that I'm able to, I guess you would say, sustain information in my head. But it's hard to see people's lives just wrecked because of these tornado outbreaks. So very happy that we're waking up this morning in calmer conditions, a calmer weekend for the most part. So we look at the excessive rainfall outlook, just an area down here in the southern high plains that does have that 5% chance of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles in a given location. And if you look at the Storm Prediction Center, we do have a marginal risk. Level 1 out of 5, stretching from Albuquerque, New Mexico, all the way down to southwestern and central sections and mainly southern sections of Texas. So what is this driven off of? Well, we do have a smaller tornado risk, including just south of Midland into Fort Stockton region. Wind threat just a 5 and hail threat 5%. I could see this upgrading to a slight risk for higher confidence in hail. We'll see what happens with that, certainly. But all in all, not a big severe weather day by any means. Let's talk about the southeast. And guys, we're probably going to zoom through this pretty quick. There's not a whole lot going on. But today, starting off pretty quiet. I have a feeling that certainly if we end up getting a G4, G5 storm, Northern Lights kind of stuff, a lot of people are going to be much more aware of it today, wondering what the clouds are going to be like. So it's going to be tough. I do think there'll be some energy flying through the mid-Atlantic that's going to bring a lot of cloud cover. And, this is actually, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So, of course, it's not night outside. But, the deep south looks clear. Carolinas look clear. And, guys, don't take what I'm saying as a conclusive thing or anything like that. I'm not an expert with it. But just there is chatter of it doing it again tonight. So we just got to see what happens. But, this afternoon, some rain, maybe even some storms could rumble through West Virginia. Just some rain up here in the mid-Atlantic, Virginia. And then as we were getting to when the sun's setting, 10, 11 p.m., some showers could be pivoting through maybe northern Georgia, maybe North Carolina, the Delmarva region, eastern Virginia. We'll see what happens with that, and they'll kind of diminish. And then we'll have some more showers. They'll kind of skirt through southern Louisiana into the overnight hours, and then we're waking up tomorrow morning with a little bit of rain shower activity, light, moderate rain across southern sections of Louisiana. The rest of the southeast looks pretty chill today. Not a whole lot going on. Northeast, a little bit more action. Quiet this morning. We're going to get some showers, maybe even some storms to get going around the Adirondacks today. Small hail is possible with this, and a more kind of congealed area of rain that's going to be moving out of Ohio into West Virginia, into western PA. And like I said, these little showers and storms not going to produce any crazy life-threatening severe weather, but because there's cold air aloft associated with this setup, small hail most likely, I think, will be likely with this. Large hail, I don't think so, but a lot of small hail is possible with these storms here in West Virginia. Watch out Pittsburgh, western PA, eastern Ohio, southern Ontario. Watch out Detroit. And even this in front of this could do it too. And this line of showers and storms could strengthen as it sweeps across PA, maybe as far south as Maryland, southern tier of New York. But, look at all this action right here. This is getting into this evening. So definitely be aware is what I'm saying here in Ohio, PA, down to Virginia, Maryland, heck, maybe even northern Virginia, all the way up to New York State for some showers, thunder showers, even some storm action that could produce some small hail. As you can tell, surface low riding around the base of this area of low pressure. And then we got this gnarly little spin out here that's just going to be bringing showers and maybe rumble of thunder overnight all the way into tomorrow morning. This is what we're waking up to tomorrow morning. Maybe some bursts of heavy rain around the D.C., Philadelphia, Baltimore area. We'll see what happens there. South Central U.S., pretty quiet start. Still got moisture dancing around here in Colorado, northern New Mexico, maybe even a storm action here. Higher elevation snow in the Rockies of Colorado. Showers possible in western Texas. You guys are no drought right now, but it can get very dry in the southern high plains. So we'll take the rain when we can get it, even if it has the potential to ruin a Saturday because it can get very dry very quick. But we'll get some rain that'll move across southeastern sections of Colorado. Look at this area of storms in northern New Mexico, and then look at these very isolated, strong to severe storms in southwestern sections of Texas that you're seeing here. Fort Stockton, Odessa, Midland, I would watch out. Maybe a stronger severe storm or two, but very isolated. They could produce some large hail, and they could drift all the way into central Texas as we're getting later in the evening. We watch this little complex of storms right here too that'll sweep into the panhandle of Oklahoma. And then by the time we get into the overnight hours into tomorrow morning, more energy starting to move into the picture as an area of lower pressure starts to scoot eastward across the southern tier of the country. Rain showers, maybe some embedded thunder moving through the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma and western Oklahoma, maybe all the way up into Nebraska. All right, up here in the north central U.S., area low pressure will continue to kind of spin around the Lake Huron area. Maybe some showers and storms down here near Detroit. Some lingering showers here in eastern sections of the eastern sections of lower Michigan. Let me get my words right. Some showers up here near northeast Minnesota. We'll get into the overnight hours. Another area of energy will swing around this trough, if you will, bring some more showers into northeast Minnesota, and then we're greeted to some showers into the wee hours of the morning tomorrow morning across the UP. And once again, you're waking up to a little bit of a soggy start for northern lower Michigan tomorrow morning. A little bit of shower activity starting to show up here Sunday morning across southwestern and southern sections of Nebraska. Not a big deal, just kind of soggy clouds up here. Western U.S., besides this action in the central and southern Rockies that we've already kind of talked about, everybody else, ridging is kind of dominating around this cutoff upper low. So nice weather into the Pacific Northwest, the northern Rockies, the Southwest. It's just this area of energy right here that's spinning around throughout the morning, afternoon, evening, overnight hours. But there's really not a whole lot to talk about with this at all. So enjoy your Saturday. Should be a beautiful day. Temperatures, area of lower pressure, keeping you guys unfortunately kind of chilly and cool today for lower Michigan and southern Ontario. Even a chilly day all the way into the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee. Chilly day in New England. once you get out of the influence of this clouds and stuff, more of a spring-like day, more typical of like April or something across the Midwest, Southeast. Beautiful conditions, but unfortunately for you guys in Florida, cold front has not cleared in, so very hot, humid still because the boundary has not moved in and allowed for dry air to settle in behind it. We look out west, look at these 80s getting all the way up into Canada, but you can actually see the area of lower pressure right here over the Central Rockies. You see this pocket of cooler air with warmer temperatures kind of surrounding this. I mean, you can literally see it on the temperature map. It's pretty cool. So, nice temperatures across the west, the northern plains, the Dakotas, the plains in general. Just pocket of cooler air right here, but really it's not that bad, but just a little bit cooler air. So what's to come? Well, this is tomorrow's outlook. This could upgrade to a slight risk. Another marginal risk that's a little bit more long here. It looks like kind of like a banana stretching from the areas of the Panhandle of Oklahoma all the way to Alexandria, Louisiana, just about, including Abilene. I know there's no L. There's no L between the A and the B. Some people always say that. I don't know why it just comes out like that. Say Abilene, but Abilene. Austin, San Antonio, Houston. There is a risk of severe weather, level 1 out of 5. And then as we get into Monday, okay, unfortunately, they're already confident enough to put a slight risk, level 2 out of 5 in this yellow area. And all we know is that there is a 15% chance of severe weather within 25 miles in any given location. And of course, you see the black outline region here. They already have a 10% risk of significant severe weather. What is this driven off of? Well, it's probably driven off, and I haven't honestly read the discussion much. I just have been just worn out and just flabbergasted with what happened last night. So I just kind of jumped on here, and I'll be honest, I just winged the heck out of this. I know it's driving this, but this is most likely due to very large hail. So Monday, starting the work week here with another severe weather threat. Now we go to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and next Saturday, a week out. It says all predictability too low. But if you read the discussion, it talks about a shortwave trough is expected to extend from the mid-Mississippi Valley through the lower Mississippi Valley and just basically continue to move eastward across the southern tier. So it does mention, hey, there's probably going to be some severe weather chances over the course of the next few days, if you read the discussion down here. And all this information is available to the public. Just literally type in Storm Prediction Center in Google. What's driving this is this area in blue. So we're starting it off tomorrow afternoon. You see this blue right here? This blue over here is lower pressure. This is lower pressure. This is higher pressure. So what's bringing that above average temperatures across areas of the Pacific Northwest throughout the weekend. And this is what's going to be a nuisance to the weather over the next few days, several days potentially. So area lower pressure, if you're wondering what's that, it's associated with more unsettled weather, typically brings some sort of weather. Typically a cold front is associated with it. Higher pressure, more stable conditions, normally above average temperatures and just calm weather. So basically, as we keep this moving, this will continue to just sort of drift eastward. We get into Monday afternoon, we get into Tuesday afternoon. It's right over areas of the southeast. We get into Wednesday afternoon. I think Wednesday afternoon it's starting to kind of clear on out. And then we got to watch right behind it as another huge area in blue, lower pressure shows up. What is this going to do? It's a little bit too far out to know, but it does cut off an area of energy late this coming work week, and this has the potential to do something too. So what is this going to do? Well, let's back this up a little bit. Let me explain what this does, and let's go on and just take it to Monday afternoon. So I'm going to draw on this. What this does is lower pressure, there's a flow around lower pressure that goes like this, right? This is how it is in the northern hemisphere. So wind flow coming in like this, right? Let's get this back off. So flow's coming in at the base of this area of low pressure, this shortwave trough, upper low, whatever you want to call it. So what is this doing? Well, it's bringing in that moist air back into the picture after a very kind of dry, stable weekend, a spring-like weekend. This is helping to aid in pulling in that rich, low-level moisture out the Gulf of Mexico. So this moistens up the atmosphere, saturates the atmosphere. Rain falls, high in dew points, higher in Cape, you're going to have a risk of strong to severe storms. Now, there's a lot of different mesoscale features, like where is an area of energy, surface low, rounding this trough. A lot of things we got to figure out. But just the higher moisture in the atmosphere alone is going to probably get the job done for a good bit of people. And you keep this going, we get into Tuesday afternoon. It's the same deal. These things move very slow. And you see how the isobars are kind of rippling right here? This means there's energy right in here. South Carolina, Georgia. So once again, bringing a lot of moisture around this and yanking it northward. So, you know, this nice, comfortable air we're experiencing over the weekends, it's not any long duration setup. We're getting deeper into May now. We don't get as many cold fronts and cool downs here in the deep south. Now, you know, you can continue to get them clear through June and July in the north, but not here in the south. You don't see them as much once we start to get into June and July. But yeah, so this is going to be the big player in the weather. And another way we can look at this is, let's see, I'm going to do a lot of this on the fly, and I do apologize. Probably your eyes are probably like, dude, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. But, you know, for example, this is just the GFS, and we were just looking at the Euro. But what does this look like as far as rain and stuff? We're just going to look at tropical tidbits here. This is getting into Sunday evening. Look at all this rain associated on the east side of this shortwave trough. It's pulling in a lot of moisture, as you can tell, in the form of green, yellows, and reds. And then we get, of course, into Monday afternoon. Here it is, developing a surface low off the side of this area of low pressure. Here it is. So this is probably going to bring that severe weather right here where they have it, per the Storm Prediction Center for Monday. Remember, everything south, southeast, east of the kind of the surface low. This is typically where your severe weather is going to be. And then this continues to move forward, guys. And look at all this heavy rain deep in the southern sections of the deep south states, basically the Gulf coastline. And I want to note, guys, this is when you have to watch out for early season tropical activity also. Sometimes mesoscale convective systems can get slung into the Gulf of Mexico. Next thing you know, they develop a low-level circulation, and we get some crazy early season tropical system. I think it's going to happen at some point over the next several weeks, okay? Because of above average sea surface temperatures and things like that. But, I mean, look, Tuesday afternoon, look at all this rain moving across the Alps regions, the southeast, and then, you know, you get into midweek, a lot of rain up here in the northeast, and then another system turns around, moves in. So what I'm trying to say is stormy, potentially a lot of rain, and then potentially stormy also. Could be some severe weather with this heading for basically the southern tier of the country, southeast, mid-south, all those things. And, you know, you look at kind of the severe ingredients with this, and we're just going to look at dew points, guys. And you can see the increase in moisture kind of moving through this region. These are dew points. Look at this low level moisture quality in the atmosphere. I mean, dew points in the 60s and 70s in Texas Sunday, you know, evening, and you keep this going. And I'm just going to keep this in motion here, getting into Monday morning, getting into Monday afternoon. This is the Euro. Look at that deep tropical moisture replacing that dry air that's settling in for this weekend. It's not going to last long. So remember, this is a thermodynamic, one of the first thermodynamics you look for when trying to track down a severe weather setup kind of in the medium range. And you keep this going here, and we're getting into Tuesday afternoon, and look at this deep moisture trying to replace all this dry air. I mean, we're getting dew points back in the upper 60s to low 70s, and this is really just bringing in a very ripe, moist atmosphere that has the capability of producing a lot of heavy rain. Now, a cold front could kind of wrap in behind this, clear out the atmosphere a little bit midweek. As you can tell, a little bit more dry air works into the mid-south, but it's not going to last long. You can see moisture kind of surging back north to the west of this area of dry air, dew points in the 50s, and this is ahead of another area of lower pressure that's going to get the atmosphere potentially going again. And here it comes. We're getting into Thursday. There's that low-level moisture, dew points in the 60s building all the way back into the Midwest, and then by the time we get into the weekend, big-time moisture return is trying to show up for everybody in the deep south just about. Maybe lower pressure, stalled frontal boundary, likely settles down here. This will keep everybody south of the boundary more unstable. North of the boundary, pretty much stable. But, you know, you look at Cape levels in response to these higher in moisture levels, and there it is. There's that big Cape bomb down here Monday afternoon for Texas, Louisiana, and areas of Mississippi. And then we start to move into our Tuesday. There's some storm fuel building into Alabama, southern Georgia. Probably going to be some severe weather in this region. What kind of shear do you have in place to provide more of a substantial severe weather event? Not sure. We got to figure that one out. And then a cold front sort of sags down to the south, stalls out, clears out the air mass, but this is when about midway, I would say midweek onward, that's when things get kind of weird, for sure. We just got to figure out some things. But I'm going to show you something on the fly here that I meant to pull up. I am concerned that a flooding threat is going to materialize across the deep south and the southeast. I am. So we're going to look at the blend of all models, and we're going to go out all the way into, let's go all the way to about this time next week. So literally 1 week out, all the way to next Saturday morning, the 18th. Look at all this rain coming for the deep south. I mean, 2 to as much as 5 to 6 inches across areas. I think the most highlighted area will probably be like eastern Texas, Louisiana, southern half of Mississippi and Alabama, even into Georgia, South Carolina. So no shortage of rain coming. We're not starting this summer out dry like we have in the past. A lot of rain coming, but the potential for flooding rains also. That's all I got. Thank y'all for tuning in. Probably no video tonight. I think I'll probably fit one in Sunday evening, but of course I will do one tomorrow morning. God bless all y'all. Y'all have a great night, and hopefully we can get those northern lights to show up in the sky again this evening. God bless all y'all.